Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. My name is TSV Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube. Haribol TRSV nectar nectar nectar. In this particular vlog, in all my previous videos, we have been discussing about the knowledge and information that we have gleaned through the study of spiritual books, scriptures, contemplation on the material universe, and meditation on the spiritual universe. This particular video is no exception to that rule. In fact, it is a mere continuation of what we have been doing in all my previous videos. Please subscribe to this vlog and press the bell icon so that I may keep reminding you of all my previous videos. So let us continue with the topic of today. In my yesterday's video, I mentioned about a word called orbit and how one very renowned internationally successful industrialist from India, Mr. Dhiru Bhai Ambani of Reliance, told me that we are all born in a particular orbit in the society, but it is through our own sheer willpower we may try in this very lifetime to change from that orbit to another. We may or may not succeed in this lifetime. However, this karma will become a part and parcel of our own sanchit karma, that is, the depository of the karma of every living entity. In this process, we are trying to discuss some case histories which will prove to us how important it is. The first case is that of a man called Kamalpath Singhania. Kamalpath Singhania was born in the 1880s or 90s of the 19th century in a family of money lenders, investors, traders, and businessmen. They were just ordinary money lenders, etc., who, of course, had a considerable amount of cash. Kamalpath's father, Jhugilal, at the turn of the 19th century or the beginning of the 20th century, decided to change all this by distributing the property among Kamalpath and his own brothers and sisters. In that process, everyone got a share of the property, including Kamalpath. Kamalpath, as his share, got some considerable amount of cash plus a sprawling bungalow in Kanpur. This guy was a young man who was highly intelligent and enterprising. Instead of using this money to go back to their old trade of money lending, etc., this guy, along with his father Jukilal, began a company called JK, and he floated the flagship company or mill or cotton mill in probably Kanpur. This was the flagship company of J.K. Singhania group of business houses. Here, this man succeeded and he slowly expanded. We are discussing about this person because in one shot or one stroke he had successfully changed from the orbit of ordinary moneylenders and traders into a greenfield businessman and mill owner. They progressed steadily but slowly, and soon they had a couple of mills and factories. This company indulged in various commodities, including cement and synthetics, etc. They are till today famous for JK Cements and JK Synthetics. Plus, probably they have gone into electronics also. This group, this small group of businessmen which started its own business house through a company called JK at the turn of the 20th century has become quite a big multinational company with its branches all over India and abroad. This is the first example of how an intelligent businessman changed his orbit from being just a trader or from being born into a family of money lenders and traders and becoming a successful greenfield businessman. He has now become a wealth creator, or in other words, his family has become a wealth creator. The second example is as interesting as the first one. In Ajmer, Rajasthan, there was a family of some humble persons who were working as traders or money lenders, small petty shopkeepers, etc. One of those persons had a slightly wealthy cousin called Bajaj. This Bajaj had a big trading house called Bachral and Co. or Bachraj and Co. in a place called Wardha near Nagpur in India. This guy did not have a son. His cousin in Ajmer had a couple of sons. Hence, that cousin promised to this man that if his next offspring, which is born, happens to be a son, he will give that son for adoption to this Mr. Bajaj, the owner of Bacharaj. At the third son of that particular cousin turned out to be a boy. The Bacharaj and Company Bajaj adopted this son and brought him to Wardha. This boy turned out to be a noble, intelligent, and responsible son of this adopted father. He soon took over the management of this business house or trading house called Bacharaj and Co. The first orbit of this boy began when he was born in an humble family in Ajmer but was adopted by his own wealthy uncle. The, this boy, Bajaj, was named as Jamuna Lal Bajaj. Bacharaj and Company, their own trading house, had another manager who had been a loyal employee of this company for ages. His name was Firodia. Now, the second orbit happened when Jamanalal Bajaj and Firodia became close friends. After some time, Jamna Lal Bajaj inherited Bajaj and Co. It was the height of nationalist movement in the colonial India. The third orbit for Bajaj happened when he joined forces with none other than the legendary Mahatma Gandhi. So much so that Mahatma Gandhi went on to declare that Bajaj was his fifth son. Bajaj started an establishment for Mahatma Gandhi in Wardha itself, so much so that today Wardha is known as Seva Gram even for the public, and there is a station called Seva Gram which was once Wardha. This Bajaj joined the nationalist movement and gave away almost 50% of his property for the sake of the nationalist movement to Mahatma Gandhi so that this particular nationalist movement could be carried on. The third orbit came when India got independent. Slightly before that, the same Bajaj started his own business house called the Bajaj. This Bajaj, Mr. Jamuna Lal Bajaj, had the first orbit when he was adopted. Second was when he inherited the Bacharaj and Company. Third was when he got friendly with Mr. Firodia. Fourth was when he joined the nationalist movement. Fifth was when he donated 50% of his property for the sake of the nationalist movement. And sixth was when he started his own business house. Alas, before this business house could fructify or the seeds sown by Mr. Jamnal Bajaj could proud father, he unfortunately died. However, his own son, Kamal Nayan Bajaj, along with his own friend, the present generation Firozia, started a workshop of, called Bajaj Tempo in a place called Kurla in Bombay. They later relocated to a place called Akurdi in Pune, which was allotted to them by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru when India got independence. They progressed slowly and steadily, as a result of which this place called Akuldi near Pune in Maharashtra is known by or identified with their own business house, emblem, and logo. Bajaj Industries is one of the biggest multinationals in India. It is quite successful and it indulges in various types of automobile industries plus herbal products plus other products. This all happened because one man decided to change his own orbit from being just a petty trader to a greenfield business owner. This person was called Jamna Lal Bajaj. There is an institute in Bombay or Delhi which is called Jamnalal Bajaj Institute for Management Studies. People learn from the life of this great man and his own sons and descendants to become managerial people and hold managerial positions in various business houses all over the world. The third was the case of one guy who was a Parsi and who belonged to a family of priests. His name was Jamshedji Tata. They were just Parsi priests in Gujarat. However, this boy was more enterprising than the others. One day he declared to his father that he wanted to strike out on his own. This guy came to a place called Bombay, which is today the commercial capital of Maharashtra in India. Here he started a small office and export house. He, those were the colonial times, and hence this guy had to make do with being a commission agent. His export house grew up slowly but steadily. Soon enough, this ordinary export house became a greenfield company which opened hotels and factories all over Maharashtra and Bihar. They are responsible for founding and owning some of the greatest companies in India, namely Tisco, that is Tata Iron and Steel Company, Telco, that is uh, an automobile company, their own truck business is also famous. Plus, they have Tata Chemicals, Tata Consultancy, Titan Watches, and other such companies. Tata is a very big business house which owns one of the proudest of hotels in India, also known as the Taj in Bombay. This boy, who was born in humble circumstances in a family of priests, decided to change his orbit and branch out into business. Because of his enterprising and risk bearing nature, that family is today one of the most successful and revered business houses in India, which employs at least 100,000 employees all around the world. This shows that if you try to take a risk, you must remember that failures, frustrations, and hindrances may come in the beginning, but they prove to be only pillars of success. You should never ever lose heart and believe in your own destiny, willpower, hard work, perseverance, and patience. If you do this, success is certainly going to kiss your doorstep one day or the other. We must take lesson from the lives of the life stories of these people and try to change our own existing orbits towards success, both materialistic as well as spiritual. The ultimate aim for every living entity is self realization. Only when you get self realized in this material world can you get liberated from repeated births and deaths in this material body permanently, and then you are ready for being delivered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Interestingly speaking, we can change orbits from ordinary living entities into spiritual souls, meditative souls, devotional souls, self realized souls, liberated souls, and delivered souls. There are so many orbits that we ourselves can change in our own destiny and karma. Every soul has the opportunity, the right, and the capacity to change its orbit both in this material world as well as in the spiritual world. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this particular matter. Please give me your own expert views, ideas, thoughts, opinions, etc., so that I may blend everything together for the sake of this society. Before concluding, let me remind you that I am also a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. Till we meet in my next video, it is good morning from TSB Raghavan.